Saturday morning. It's a new year. Benigno, his first show of 2026. 888-808-1019 is the phone number. Hit it with the Big Blue preview show. I guess it's the last one at 7 o'clock. Nick Theodoro on the other side of the glass. So I don't know if you just heard me with Hoffman. All right? All right. Let's be honest about it, okay? Aaron Glenn is a disaster. There's no doubt about it. He's a disaster. He should be gone. If somehow, some way, after they get beat down tomorrow by Buffalo, that should be it for Aaron Glenn. Get him out. He's a disaster. I mean, he's not the guy. I mean, I'm sorry. He's just not the guy. What we've saw from the Jets the last 4 weeks is not professional football. That they have just been destroyed and have been beaten down, historically brutal in the month of December, the worst in the history of professional football as far as the point differential in 4 games for the month of December. Unbelievable. They haven't had an interception all year, which is just beyond, it's beyond mind-boggling that that's possible. But this team needs a quarterback. I mean, let's stop already with it. Now, hopefully, the Giants will beat the Cowboys tomorrow. I'm rooting hard for them tomorrow. And the way the Giants are playing, they're trying to win games. I mean, Jackson Dart's out there trying to win a game. There's no doubt about it. Okay? And this idea that the Giants would part ways with Dart to bring in another guy, Mendoza or Moore or whoever, is insanity. What are you talking about? You've already seen what this kid could do. We know the kid could play. We know the kid could play in the NFL. You're not giving away what, to me, I understand it's only a bunch of games, but what looks to be a proven commodity for something that we have no idea whether they can play in the league or not. That's not happening. And I don't know where this idea came from. Oh, the reports out there. Oh, the Giants. Yeah, you don't want Jackson Dart? Hey, we'll take him. You got to be kidding me. So I don't buy that for a second. The Giants, Jackson Dart is the Giant quarterback. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind about that, 100%. Now, if the Giants do wind up with the second pick in the draft, I'm not moving up. I think the only guy in this draft who I would give up draft capital for is Mendoza. That's it. I'm not doing it for Moore. I'm not doing it for anybody else. And I love what I've seen from Chambliss. Who knows what this guy is? I don't know. I still think he's going to wind up getting eligibility and coming back for another year. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. But, boy, did he look good against Georgia. Oh, my God. I mean, Mendoza was great against Alabama. No doubt about it. This kid was spectacular against Georgia. Spectacular. No other way to say it. He made plays, extended plays, got away from pressure. It was unbelievable what he was doing out there. So you got to start to look at a kid like that. Now, again, I don't know if he's coming out. I don't know what's happening there. But the only guy that I am giving up draft capital for this year, now I would do it for Arch Manning next year. And again, there's no reason that the Jets can't take a quarterback this year and still take another one next year. That's not crazy. They do have 3 number 1 picks next year. Why not? Who says you can't do that? I don't see any written rule that says you can't do that. But the only guy that I would give up draft capital for is Mendoza, and it's not going to happen because the Raiders are getting the first pick. The Raiders are clearly tanking. We saw it out last week against the Giants. They didn't play Max Crosby, who wasn't happy about it. They didn't play Brock Bowers. So their 2 best players, they sat in the game against the Giants. I call that tanking. And they play Kansas City tomorrow, and I doubt the Chiefs are losing to them. Even a facsimile of what the Chiefs have been over the last 10 years without Patrick Mahomes, I don't see the Raiders beating them. I just don't see it. And they don't want to win. So let's take Mendoza out of the equation for the Jets. And let's say the Giants win, which would drop the Jets to 2 because the Jets aren't winning. I mean, come on. let's be real. With the garbage that they're throwing out there right now, there's no way they're winning. So if they move to 2 and you want to take Dante Moore, I would say take him. But that doesn't stop you from taking another quarterback next year. And again, they need to bring in a veteran guy Somebody that can actually play. And to me, Malik Willis in Green Bay, to me, is the guy. I really don't want Kirk Cousins. He's okay, but I really wouldn't want him. I don't know where else you want to go. Marcus Mariota, I don't know where you're going. All right, I don't know. But you got to bring a veteran guy. You can't make the mistake that the Jets have made all too often and draft this guy in the first round and then play him right away. I mean, we saw it with Sanchez. It worked out with Sanchez because, there was such a good team he had around him, right? So, that actually worked out the first 2 years with Sanchez. It didn't work out with Sam Darnold, and it didn't work out, obviously, with Zach Wilson. So I'd be very, very, very leery about that. I'm not starting my guy right away. Even if they got Mendoza, I'm not playing him right away. But they got to get a quarterback. Even if who knows? Maybe you maybe if Chambliss is coming out, maybe you take a shot at him somewhere. Maybe you draft a guy like Pavia. Maybe you do that. I don't know. Maybe there's other guys that are going to be there. I don't love Tyler Simpson with Alabama. I don't love him. And if I was him, I'd go back to school for another year. And what a disaster that was for Bama against IU, man. They just killed them. They obviously, Indiana was sending a message in that game, and they look like they're the best team. I mean, they really do. And we'll see what they do in the rematch against Oregon. But the Jets got to get a quarterback. Somewhere along the line in this draft, you need to get one. But again, the only guy that I would give up any draft capital for is Mendoza. He's the one guy that I say it's a no-brainer. You got to take him. But you don't start him right away. You don't start him right away. He's played a lot of football. You got to consider that too. And that's a big thing now with college quarterbacks. A lot of these guys have been playing for 5 and 6 years. Carson Beck at Miami, he's been there for 5. He played at Georgia for 4 years. Now a year with Miami. This kid Trinidad Chambliss played like 2 or 3 years at Ferris State and won a couple national championships there. I don't think Moore's played too much. I think he's only maybe his second or third year as a starter, something like that. Not too much time. But still, if you like him, okay. But, they need a quarterback. I'm tired of losing. If you're a Jet fan, I mean, how much more can you take? How much more embarrassment can you take? And the coach has to go. I mean, I don't think Woody's going to get rid of him, but he should get rid of him. It's unfortunate. He was a very good Jet, no doubt. His legacy as a very good Jet has been hurt because he's such a terrible head coach. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably bringing him back. I think it's a big mistake to do that. I really do. And what happens if they get off to another horrible start next year? What are you going to fire him in the middle of the year? That never works out well, as we know. We saw that last year with Saleh. That doesn't work out. He should really go now and try to get some kind of a veteran head coach in here. That's what you got to do. Mike McCarthy would be good. I'm even in for Cliff Kingsbury, who's the offensive coordinator with Washington. I'm even in for him. I'm in. But they need to do something there, but I think Glenn is coming back. But I do have confidence in Darren Muji that he's going to do the right thing. And they need a quarterback. I'm sorry. They got somebody's got to play quarterback for them next year. And you get a veteran guy and you draft a guy. And that doesn't mean, and I agree, Arch Manning's the guy. I think to me, I think it's a no-brainer of all these quarterbacks that we have seen over the last, if you watched all the college football this last week like I did, right? And look, still, Chambliss had the best game, there's no doubt, over anybody. But Manning looked damn good against Michigan. He did. And he's gotten better and better and better. And I'm telling you, he's the guy. He's got the Manning pedigree. One thing we know about, and I think he's coming back because he wants to win the Heisman Trophy, because no Manning ever won it. Peyton didn't win it. Archie didn't win it. Eli didn't win it. I'm sure he wants to win the Heisman Trophy next year. But there's no rule that says you can't take a quarterback this year and still take a quarterback next year when they're going to have all those 3 number 1 draft choices. And like I said, I got confidence in Darren Muji. I think they actually got a general manager that knows what he's doing. The trade for Sauce Gardner, like I said, that was one of the all-time fleecings in the history of the NFL. 2 number 1s and a wide receiver, this kid Mitchell, who looks like he's at least a decent player, for, again, to me, the most overrated player in the league. And how's that working out for the Colts? So, we'll see what happens. But this idea, they gotta get a quarterback somewhere this year. They really do. They got to take one, even if they, like I said, even if you took Diego Pavia in the 3rd or 4th round, I would be good with that. But if Mendoza was there and available for them, if somehow the Jets move up to 2 and the Raiders don't take Mendoza, they think Moore maybe is better. I know there's some guys out there that, some of these, brainiacs that do the draft and all of that think Moore is better. I don't think he's better, but, who knows? I mean, nobody knows until they get into the league. But if Mendoza's the one guy that I would say, hey, you know what? He's there. You got to take him. And I would consider moving up to get him, but it's not going to happen because the Raiders are taking him at 1. They need a quarterback. Don't give me this that they're bringing Geno Smith back. Geno's shot. And I don't know if Pete Carroll's coming back there either. I mean, he didn't exactly light it up this year. So we'll see. But I disagree with my old partner. I disagree with Tiki. Yes, you got to bring in a veteran guy. I don't want the rookie starting, but somewhere, somehow, they got to get some kind of a quarterback, a young quarterback this year. And again, that doesn't mean they can't get one next year with the way they're set up in the draft. All right, 888-808-1019 is the phone number. Benigno on a Saturday. First show of New Year. January 3rd of 2026. It's hard to believe that the years are just flying by. It's really unbelievable. We'll break here. We'll come back with your calls. We're here to the Big Blue Preview at 7 o'clock.